So that takes us then to reason number 4 that your pre-boarding process might be falling flat, and that is that you're not preparing the office or your office staff or just the team for the new hire before they arrive. So again, this is one where some of you are going to be in physical locations, some of you are going to be hybrid, some of you are going to be remote. So this would apply differently for all of you probably. But what we want to communicate here is that the worst thing you can do, it maybe, I don't know if I should say it that strongly, one of the worst things that you can do is to have that new hire show up on day 1 and feel like they are an imposition, right? They're imposing on other people in the office. So if you've had that experience before where you showed up to a new job and you sort of felt like, oh, they weren't ready for me, or I felt awkward. We like to tell a story about someone who started a new job and got there and they said, oh, first off, they didn't even remember that she was coming. Like,
and she was an executive.
Yeah, executive. Oh, you're starting today. Which again, think about what messages, so uncertainty up, predictability down, right? But they said, oh, we didn't know you were starting today. Okay. So you're going to be, well, this will be your office. Take her into her office. And there were still pictures up for the previous person had not even taken their office, hadn't even packed up their office yet. And so they just sort of like actually scooted over personal artifacts and pictures and like putting pictures down, and she said, I felt like I'm in someone else's office. I shouldn't be here. Nobody wants me here. Yeah. And it really set a very traumatic and negative tone for her moving forward. So we hear stories like that all the time.
And think about how that's magnified if you have a remote employee that's joining. Mm-hmm. If you're not incredibly intentional about having everything set up and ready to go, they're really going to feel like they're imposing to have to call and ask, hey, what am I supposed to be doing right now? Can you send me my login information? Do I need to go buy my own printer? Are you going to send me one? Things like that. Like you really, really need to have all of that set up for them.
Oh, it's so true. And so there's kind of two sides of this. There's the, doing the work of preparing the rest of, whether it's your IT staff that needs to be notified about this new hire and when they are going to get there. And hey, don't act surprised when this person shows up, right? They're coming. But it's also preparing them to think through relationally what they need to do to help that person feel very welcome. So here's a really practical one that we will share. If you are in a physical location, it's a small thing, but it actually makes a huge difference. When you think about the fact that, I'll just use Joy's our new hire again.
Always the new hire.
Always the new hire. So let's say that I know how important it is for Joy to meet everybody in the office, and I really want her to feel super welcomed. So maybe I've even told people, hey, don't forget Joy's starting on Monday. And everybody's kind of, they're doing their own thing. They're busy. They're in their offices. They're typing away. They're answering emails on Monday morning, which is always really hectic time.
A bunch of achievers.
A bunch of, really hectic time. So suddenly I am taking Joy, who, remember, high levels of uncertainty, low levels of predictability, and I'm going to parade her through the office and basically interrupt every person along the way. Now, all these people are probably wonderful and they want to meet Joy, but the experience for Joy is that she feels like one at a time, she's not sure, is this person ready for me? She sees those nonverbal behaviors of people being kind of disrupted and then going, oh, okay, yeah, and I'll stand up and shake your hand.
Or maybe not even turning from the computer. They're still typing while they're, okay.
Yeah. And so when you think about that experience from, the new hire's perspective, it can feel very much like, oh, I've interrupted these 14 people's, work. And so that makes them feel unsure. So what we recommend is that you actually communicate and build a culture where your people come to Joy, right? That they know they're coming to her and they're going to welcome her instead of her going to everybody. Now, again, I realize for some of you, you're remote and that might be more difficult for you to execute on some of that, but figure out ways that you can have your people that should know Joy's starting come to her even digitally, right? Mm-hmm. So Ashley shared something right here. It looks like always announces new hires a week before they start in an all-team meeting, announces their arrival. Excellent. It's so important that you prepare everybody so that there isn't a person, hopefully, on the team who's like, oh, and says a really quick little comment, I didn't know you were starting today,
Yeah.
which makes Joy feel smaller and like, did they really want me here? Should I be here? Right. So that's the important thing to remember.
Mary Jo Little said the comments up further up, but she said they put the nameplate on the door before they arrive.
Brilliant.
Love it.
Yeah.
I love it so much.
It's and that is also tying into that process of individualization that I shared a moment ago. It's they see their name with the company logo, they feel like they were prepared for me to be here today.
Yeah.
Which is huge and also not executed as often.
We do a Slack company wide welcome. That's well received. That's awesome, Catherine.
Amazing.
Yeah. And also there was a pre-question that was sent in, and it was about, giving employees access to, logins and information like that before they start. And that's a bit of a risk. And so we were actually talking to Ashley about this ahead of time, and she said GoCo actually has a way that you can turn on and off access.
Yeah.
So it's something as simple as just turning that access off.
Right. To mitigate that risk that you might feel in preventing, sending those kind of messages.
Yeah. But again, how much uncertainty is being reduced. And if you are, and say you're setting them up with their email early, go ahead and have their manager put some check-in meetings on the calendar so that when they log in, there's already some things in there for them to accept.
Yeah.
And some ways it's being communicated that, we've got a plan for you. We're excited you're here.
Yeah.
And we're getting this started.
It's not a surprise that you're starting work today. I mean, that's the whole goal. And that will go so far in decreasing uncertainty and increasing predictability.